The space between stories, I call it. Yeah. Yeah, it's you used to know what was real, how to be human, who you were, how the world works, and now all those answers don't make sense anymore. You don't know who you are anymore even. You don't know what's real, you don't know how to do it. You don't know what's dependable. You don't know what to trust. You don't know how to take care of your body, maybe. Um, and it's a very it's a very potent moment because in that humility of I don't know, something genuinely new can come in if you can stay there long enough for something new to grow instead of to jump to another version. What you recognize later was just another version of the same old story. So, but even like, I don't want to set it up as something that you might do wrong if you jump too quickly, because even that is part of the process. We cling really tightly. That's one of the ways that we cling. So that is one of the meta patterns that maybe we need to let go of. The meta pattern of trying to identify what it is that I'm doing wrong. That's related to the pattern of blame in a political context. Whether it's left or right, they all have the same formula. Find the one to blame. Who are the bad guys? What's the pathogen? Who do we fight? Who do we punish? That's the diagnosis. The diagnosis for bad things in the world is bad people. Yeah. And so that story, that's an example of a story, or even you could call it a myth, because it's such a deep story that bad things happen because bad people deliberately make them happen. Therefore, the solution to all of our problems is to find the right person to fight, the right person to dominate, the right person to destroy, to triumph over. Solutions become about winning and losing. What if that pattern is itself the problem? And here we get a little bit meta, and a little bit paradoxical, to say that the problem is the obsession with finding the problem, identifying one thing as the cause of everything. But it's it's an item in our lexicon, in our vocabulary, our pattern language, the elements of the stories that we use to understand the world. And I think that the time is upon us. This is a form of reunion, to no longer separate the world and our minds into the oppressors and the victims. It's not that those lenses are wrong or useless. There are many situations on this earth that you can look at through that lens and understand an awful lot of what's going on. But it becomes affixed to our eyeballs, that lens. And we seek to understand everything in that way. And it's not a big enough framework of understanding to encompass what is happening on this earth right now. And nor is it big enough to extricate us from our situation. So this is what I'm talking about, genuinely new stories, not simply replacing the occupants of the roles in the old stories. Both right and left have the same story, just different occupants of the role of bad guy.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely loved this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.